Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends, we gather today on International Holocaust Remembrance Day to honor the memory of 6 million Jews who were murdered during the Holocaust. We gather to reaffirm our shared responsibility to remember, to educate, and to stand against hatred in all its forms. Remembrance is not only an act of memory, it is an affirmation of human dignity and a moral commitment to defend the rights of all people. I would like to depart 1 second from what I prepared and wanted to say. This is the 5th time that I'm taking part in this beautiful ceremony, that I'm so thankful to the Jewish community for organizing it. And in each and every time that I was here, I shared the story of my own family. And I made a conscious decision not to bring this personal story once again today. And I regret this decision. And I feel that I would be making a mistake not to bring my own story of my own family. So I want to share it with you without reading it from a paper. My great-grandparents are from Lithuania, from the city of Vilkomir, today is known as Ukmergė. On 26th of June 1941, when the Nazis entered Vilkomir, there were 8,000 Jews living in this town. 3 months later, there was not a single Jew alive in Vilkomir. Within those three months, the Nazis, with the assistance of the local population, murdered all of those Jews. Most of the killings took place in the nearby forest, the forest of Pivonia. The Jews were marched into those woods, were placed into ditches, and were shot to death. Among them were my great-grandfather and great-grandmother, Zev and Sarah Anolik, together with 4 of their daughters, Shoshana, Nina, and Simcha, and little Mina, who was only 10 years old. And every time I tell this story, I feel the need to repeat the same thought that goes through my mind when I heard this story for the first time. What was he thinking? My great-grandfather was a little bit older than I am today, when he was walking with his family into the woods. Did he know? Did he realize what's about to happen? When his little daughter asked him, "Dad, where are we going to?" Did he know what he's going to answer? And I'm also thinking, what would I have done if I were there? Luckily, for me at least, my grandfather, the son of Zev, Isaac, who was a devout Zionist, left his home and family 8 years earlier and made his way to the Holy Land. And if he hadn't done this, I wouldn't be here today talking to you. So I feel I have this debt to my own family. So this is why I departed from my speech and wanted to tell you this story. And I will go back to the speech. So, remembrance dignifies the victims and the survivors of the Holocaust. It restores individuality to those who were stripped of it. It keeps alive the memory of families, of communities, of cultures, and traditions that the Nazis sought to erase completely. 6 million Jews were murdered, but each victim was more than a number. Each had a name, had a story, had a world of relationships, beliefs, and hopes. To remember them is to return what was denied of them, their humanity. The Holocaust stands as a warning, not only about the past, but about the present and the future. It teaches us the deadly consequences of anti-Semitism and hatred, of dehumanization and indifference when they're left unchallenged. It shows us what happens when human beings are reduced to stereotypes. It shows us what happens when lies are allowed to spread, and what happens when silence replaces moral courage. More than 80 years after the Holocaust, these lessons remain painfully relevant Around the world, we witness daily assaults on human dignity. Anti-Semitism is surging once again. Hatred toward minorities is growing louder. Holocaust denial and distortion persist not only on the fringes of society, but increasingly in mainstream discourse, in social media, and even in political arenas. In Sydney, Australia, last month, Jews were shot to death for the crime of being Jewish. Remembrance of the Holocaust directly defies denial and distortion. Remembrance rejects falsehoods. Remembrance confronts hatred. And remembrance insists, without compromise, on the humanity of the victims. In remembering the victims of the Holocaust, we affirm our shared humanity. We recognize the systematic violation of the rights of one group ultimately threatens the security and dignity of all. In this context, the work of the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, the IHRD, known as IHRA, is of critical importance. IHRA plays a vital role in promoting Holocaust education, remembrance, and research. It plays a role in confronting anti-Semitism through clarity, responsibility, and international cooperation. Recently, Cyprus became a liaison member of IHRA. Membership in IHRA is not symbolic. It is a pledge to historical truth, a pledge to education, and a pledge to the protection of human dignity. It reflects an understanding that remembrance is not passive, it demands action. Today, as we remember, we also recommit ourselves. We recommit to challenging anti-Semitism and all forms of racism. We recommit to confronting denial and distortion wherever they appear. Holocaust remembrance is not only about honoring the past, it is about shaping a future grounded in justice, responsibility, and respect for human life. May our remembrance strengthen our resolve, may it sharpen our conscience, and may it guide us to build a better world for all.